What's going on, guys? This is just going to be a quick video on how to draw Ipda data ranges. We're going to look at two different pairs, US30 and Euro USD, and we're going to break them down and see how the Ipda data ranges work. So the first thing that we do is we look at the first day. I always call that day 0. Now, everything's not going to be perfect as far as what ICT uses, but most of it is there. And it's what I've been using to find liquidity. So as we're on the daily, you can see that first number is going to mark the amount of days. So we're going to go back 60 days, right? And once we see that range, we now have what's called our dealing range, right? So now we're looking between this low specifically and this high, because between this low and this high is the complete 60-day range right here. Let me make that just a little bit easier on the eyes rather than that green color. So this will be our 60-day range. Now, the way we use Ipda data ranges is not just 60, but we also use 40 and 20 days. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave that there. So we can leave that marked. Now, right here is 40 days. You can see that range. 40 days being starting here, so we would be looking between this high right here and the low would be the exact same as that 60. Now we do the same thing for our 20-day right there. We look at which candle it represents, and then we can define a range based on that. So now 20-day range being here. Now I just kind of marked it like this so we could clearly see the ranges. So why is that important? Well, the high and low of the Ipda data range are generally going to be the most sensitive. Right now, this is currently our 20, 40, and 60-day low, since that's in the range of our last 20, 40, and 60 days. Now, using the 20, 40, and 60-day range is where we start our premium to discount. So we go from here, line it all the way up. Now we have 50%. So when we're looking at our Ipda data ranges and we first find premium and discount, now we can start to look inside of those certain ranges. So for example, this is our premium side and this is our discount side. Now, one concept that ICT always uses or discusses in his Ipda theories and really all price action theories is you're buying in a discount and you're selling in a premium. It's not always the case, right? In a lot of Larry Williams' books, he discusses selling in a discount and buying in a premium, right? If there's a product that someone needs, they're going to buy it regardless of the price, right? If a company makes oranges into orange juice, they still need oranges regardless of the price of them. They're still going to be selling orange juice. Obviously, with futures and cryptos and Forex, it's a lot different, and the markets don't work exactly the same, but still the same theories. Now, in this area, sometimes we can sell in a discount looking to take out a low, right? This was that old 20, 40, and 60-day low. So I want you to take a back step with me real quick. So say that this low was not formed yet, right? Let's pretend that we're only at this candle here. So if we're only at this candle here, when we look back 60 days now, right here, that's our range between that high and that low. So the high would stay the same, but the low would be here. Remember, we're only at this candle. So we won't go through all of our 20, 40, and 60, but we do need to reframe our discount side and our premium side. Now things look a little bit better. So you can see this low here was that 20, 40, and 60-day low. We traded down into that 25% range. Now, this is what I was talking about, where you can sell in a discount if you have the right liquidity, right? This is a market maker sell model. It's already completed based on Ipda. We've sold off here at the 75%, Couldn't make it back. We sold off here again at 50%. Now we're at 25. I just want to walk through this quick example right here, where you can see it dips up into a premium, which is where you'd like to be selling, obviously. And as it trades down, we continue to sell off in that discount until this level's hit. We still had a little bit of selling there, but I just want you to see how we reached for this level and why we reached for that level. Again, that was a 20, 40, and 60-day high. So if we're just looking at this leg, we'll look back 40 days. And so that 40-day range would be here. So I want you to see that the 40-day low was different, right? If we're only looking at the 40-day range, let's just forget the 60-day range right now. If we're looking at the 40-day range, what does that look like? Well, we cut off here at this candle. So we know our high is going to be about right there, same as it was, but our low changes because now this is outside of that range. So again, we're looking starting from this candle as if this price action has not happened yet, because I want to show you why it traded down. Now, again, we reframe our premium and discount. So this is our 40-day range. Right here is our premium side, and here is our discount side. It's a little bit off, but it's fair. You'll understand the concept. So I want you to see how close was that to the 40-day low. Pretty darn close, right? It got right up on it. Here, and then closed, and then look at the next day. Takes the low again. Now, this is important because it highlights levels of liquidity. That's what Ipda's goal is to find areas of liquidity. So we have confluence there using not just the 60, but the 40, which is why we use all three. Now, if we go from this day and instead of using 40, we just look at the 20-day range, we can reframe it based on that as well. So now we don't have the benefit of that 40-day high. We're just looking at the last 20 days. So now, again, we have to reframe our premium and our discount levels based on the 20-day. So right there, there's our range in the last 20 days. Let me leave this one here. That way you can still see which day we're discussing. So this is our 20-day range, and very similar to what you saw a second ago, we reach up into a premium and then we continue selling. Now we have this low here. This low is significant. Why? Because this level was not just a 20-day low, but it was also our 40-day low. Our 60 puts us all the way out here. Again, this was our 60-day low. So we run the 20 and 40, and then where do we reach down to? 60. And then give a stop hunt and pull back. So what I wanted to show you is this is part of the reason why we don't always have to just buy in a discount and sell in a premium. Obviously, that's what our focus needs to be, but discount markets based on Ipda can continue moving lower. Now, I wanted to throw this on here just so you could see the indicator. It makes it a lot simpler. You can see it marks the 60-day high and the new 60-day low, as well as 50%, 75%, 25%, and then all the pivots in there. We also have the miniature pivots, but we don't always use them. I could show you how to utilize them in another video. Let me pull this example up here. So the little pivots just start breaking down price into more understandable levels based on premium and discount. Now, this isn't like a secret strategy, right? This is ICT's month 5 Ipda stuff, but I want you to start looking at these ranges because they show larger pools of liquidity. Now, after liquidities ran, for example, now, because we have a new 20-day low, price will generally sit around that level, either dig a couple more times, but once it pulls back, then that's when we get our highest probability buys and vice versa for the highs. So just reach out to me if you have any questions about Ipda or anything specific to setting it up. Again, the way that we set it up is very basic. It's just using like a quarters theory type approach. We have the high and the low, which we cut in half. You see 50% is that yellow line. Now we take the discount side. We cut that in half. You can see 50% is that 25. Same thing for our pivots. We just cut this one in half. Now you can see there. Now if we just cut a pivot in half, you can see that it's 50% of each box. So it's really just quarters theory, cutting it up, looking at ranges and looking for liquidity. Now, just to hop to Euro real quick, because they are creating this low, I want you to see the same thing, right? We can sell discount markets. Obviously, we'd love to catch that right there, but that old low was here. Now, keep playing with this, go through it a couple times, and start from different days. So for example, don't use just the current price action, go back in time and start looking at it. Look for areas where a significant high or low was made if you really want to get the most out of it. So for example, right there, you can see we obviously made a significant low. Now, when you go back to that level, you'll get a good understanding if you look at the low, and then you go back 60 days. So now we're looking at right there, 60 days. We look at that range. Bang, right there. So now we have our high and low. We'll draw from this high to that low. Now we'll draw our 40 days. Right here. So this level was our 60-day high. And then we'll add this down here to the 60-day low. Now that we've measured the 40 out, we know that the 40 is right here. So the 40-day high is at the same level. Let's change the color. And the same thing for the low. So when that low was made, this is what Ipda looked like. Now let's do the 20-day. So we finally get one that changes. So right here is going to be our 20-day high. I'll just make that one blue. Now our 20-day low is going to be the same. So I want you to pay attention to things like that in price. Now we have the same 20, 40, 60-day low, but we do not have the same 20, 40, 60-day high. So Ipda begins to look for this liquidity. And what does price do? Remember equilibrium right here, 50%. It trades up into it, sells off. Now, when it pulls back, obviously we're bullish. I want you to look at this 25% level. Specifically right here. Anytime you see a close on, like with the bodies, at an Ipda level like that, it's generally going to be a pretty solid level. Now you can see they reached into a premium multiple times, but they did not take out that 20-day high until here. Once they take out the 20-day high, I want you to look at this candle. It snaps right there to that 40 and 60-day high, filling that, and then begins reaching higher. So I want you to just go through this drill and look at multiple swings like this. So when you have a market maker model, for example, this is a buy model, and you have algorithmic principles behind them, buying up at the 25%, 50%, and 75%, taking out the high with liquidity right here, I want you to notice certain patterns that occur. When you find these models, you can start to really understand the market a little bit more, because you start to understand the way the market moves and that the way price is going to swing. This is the larger liquidity that's being moved on the higher time frame charts. So it's really not the fastest method, and there are other methods to start breaking Ipda down, but this is just the classic method of looking at Ipda data ranges and how to define them. This is going to be something that is going to take you a while, or at least a little bit of time, to get used to, because it's not necessarily something that is highly looked at. Now, one little bonus tip that I would throw in there, I just didn't want to complicate this video, is you can, or the most accurate measurements are going to come off of the bodies. So if you're measuring the bodies, you're going to have the most accurate measurements that way. I tend to use the wicks, but the bodies generally are just a little bit more accurate, and that's what ICT recommends, is to use the bodies. But I always wait for that liquidity purge. So like I said, I like to use the wicks, and it gives you good lineups like that. Now, again, like I said before we ended US 30, just let me know if you have any questions. I'll be happy to help. If you understand Ipda data ranges just a little bit better. Peace, y'all.